Hi folks, this is another video selling retro joysticks. This one I got as part of a job lot, and I don't know if you can see, but it is crusty and dusty as anything. So in this video I'm just going to show you how I sort of tear down and clean and get a vintage piece of equipment like this back up to scratch. This joystick functions perfect. It's got nice micro switches and they all work. However, if you listen carefully, there is clearly something floating around inside there that shouldn't be. So like I say, I'm just going to take it to pieces and show you how to clean it up. So first of all, we'll just take the screws out the bottom. On this particular one there's 4 screws. You know, other joysticks will vary, but the process is pretty much the same for most these joysticks. One of the good things about Amiga joysticks is, you know, as far as I'm aware, they're pretty much all digital joysticks, so there's no potentiometers or things like that you can knock out of alignment, or, you know, fairly complex. They're normally just a micro switch or a switch of some sort, which if they've worn out, they're generally quite easy to source or clean up. Right, so that's just the switch. I should have taken it off. That's the autofire switch. So looking on here, the board is fairly tight. I don't want to force it too much. Let's take these buttons out. There we go. So just take it out, take the strain relief out the case, and then just put that to one side. Now, what I'm going to do here is, on this particular board, which is actually quite a nice design, there is spade connectors, but look on the spade connectors, look in the board, there's no actual connector on board, so whether this was done to keep costs down or not, but all they've done is cut into the board, and the spade connector just pushes it onto the copper on the board, which is quite a simple, effective design. So that's our circuit board out. So we've got a couple of caps, few resistors, a couple of probably transistors or something, and yeah, these micro switches, which are basically in component form and then soldered onto the board. Excuse me. So if we look here, we've got the actual main body of the switch soldered at 3 points, and then a brass contact which is soldered directly onto the board. And when you push down, that little spring steel contact makes contact with the brass on the board. So while we're here, we shall just quickly give that the once over. I don't have any cotton buds to hand, so I'll just use my brush and then we'll just get in about them and just give them a quick once over with some isopropyl alcohol. Let's see, this joystick functions perfectly, so this is just a bit good housekeeping, I suppose, good practice. And this while we're there, we'll just give that switch a quick dust over as well, and take any flux off that we can see. Obviously in the factories we don't have time to do this, but you know, this joystick's probably 20 or 30 years old, so if it was going to do any damage, it's probably done it by now. But let's see, it's always good practice to do that. Right, so that's our board cleaned up. And here we have the main joystick itself. So Not sure how this comes apart, but I do know that there's plastic floating around inside it, so it doesn't appear to be coming out. So we'll just take the actual handle of the joystick apart now. I imagine this white plastic piece at the bottom goes through the two halves and then is held together by a screw, like that screw we've just taken out. Yep, that goes on to a piece of metal actually. It's interesting. It's actually cast, probably aluminium or something like that, steel, but it's chrome plated. It's actually quite robust. And there's a piece of plastic, which is what was rattling about. So that small piece there. Now what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to compare the two halves and see where this has come off. And I can see there, I don't know if you can make that out in the camera, but that small piece of plastic that we just took out has come off there. Now I'm not concerned about that. You know, it's not causing any problems with the function of the joystick itself. So we just remove the switches. Again, we'll give them a once over small amount of alcohol, and noting that the bigger one is the thumb switch. So onto the cleaning of it. I will just, I'll not bother taking that or disassembling that any further, but I have some lint-free cloths, and all I'm going to do to clean this up, as you can see, this really is crusty. Dust, you know, sweat, whatever, you know, whatever's on there, it needs to come off. So again, our old friend isopropyl alcohol, and let's give it a good clean. Now, on the subject of isopropyl alcohol, I think it's quite difficult to get it in on the high street. You might be able to get it in Maplin's or somewhere like that. I try to avoid Maplin's as much as I can because they're overpriced, and the staff are, well, to all intents and purposes, useless. Some of them, I should say. I'm sure some of them are very knowledgeable, very experienced, but in my experience, my local Maplin's, which is the closest one to me, is the one in the Metro Centre, just outside, or in Gateshead, just outside Newcastle, and they're particularly useless, if I'm honest. But yeah, so I digress. Yeah, isopropyl alcohol. I don't know if you can get it at Maplin's. I get mine's online, usually from CPC Farnell, or you can get it on eBay. I need to get some more actually, but it's such a good thing to have around in the workshop. You can use it for cleaning, like I'm doing here. You can use it for getting rid of sticky residues of you know, stickers and glues and stuff like that. It's just a really all-round good cleaner. You can pretty much use it in anything. Best to try a little surface test on whatever you're cleaning before you use it, but it's generally okay. But I do need to get some more. Okay, so as you will probably see, that looks absolutely spotless. It's like brand new. So last little clean. Yeah, that looks perfect. on the handles, there's not many, there's not any vents or grooves like there was in the actual main body. So on this, just a really good clean with your lint-free cloth. I'll do that, and same again with this side. If you're buying isopropyl alcohol from eBay, just be careful of sellers. They've got extortionate carriage because it's a chemical and it's a dangerous chemical. You can't just post it to Royal Mail, so just be careful how much you're paying for it. There's a seller on here just now will sell you 5 litres for about £12.50 just now, which is fairly good. I normally pay around £9 for this one, which comes from CPC Pro Power. But you know, it's fairly, this is good quality. I think it's about 99%. Right, so that's that side done. And on the actual, the bottom of the joystick, I just like to get in the you know, this groove here, because that's where bacteria and, you know, years of sweaty gamers' hands accumulates. The bottom's fine, yeah. A quick dust out, and that I'll do is I want to reassemble it. Just one on the last little bit there. Yeah, on to reassembly. So we'll take this half. Now we said the bigger PCB was on the thumb. Not the easiest thing to do this. Bit of perseverance and we'll get there in the end. There we go. Okay, so we'll put our buttons in, which we haven't cleaned, so we'll quickly do those. Right, so these have just got a little, you know, I don't know what you'd call it, axle. Not an axle, but you know what I mean, just a little stud that locates it on there. This isn't sided, so we can just put it in anyway. Obviously, the 2 studs in here fit into the 2 holes on each side of this. So if I just pull the wires through it with 5 buttons, and that sort of locates itself in there. Just make sure to put the cables out of the way, because we don't. The last thing we want to do is spend all this time cleaning it only to pinch the cables and then have to open it up again to make a further repair. Okay, and then the other half of the handle, easy to start at the bottom normally, and then before we start putting screws and tightening things up, I just like to do a test of the buttons, make sure they're free and not being sort of restricted in any way. And yeah, I'll put the smaller ones in. That's probably small one at the bottom. I just noticed there's 3 different sizes of screw on here, so just be careful you put the right ones in the right holes, because if you put a long screw in a hole that's supposed to have a short screw, what happens is it will just push itself and damage the side. I know I'm teaching you to suck eggs there, but never mind. Right, so right, these two white studs or bars fit in between these 2 holes there. So right, next thing to do is to reassemble the PCB. So what I'm going to do now is just drop the switches in after I've cleaned them. Just get into those grooves on the top there. So yeah, we're just going to drop those in there, like so. We're going to take our PCB and feed the 5-button wires through there, and then I'm going to locate this on the posts. If I can. And then obviously my alcohol's come off, but I remember, well, it can only go on these two contacts, so there's only 2 with a trace coming to them. It just plugs on there, that one goes in there. Quite a secure fit those. And then on our base we will put the strainer leaf back in. So this is a round part on the bottom. Just lift that up again. And I think it'd probably be easier actually if we put it on here first. This isn't going in very easily, but there we go. So that's us there. Yeah, that's us done. Right, so put our 4 screws back in. Nearly there. And then the only thing we've got left to do, all this crap out of the way, is just give this little switch a little clean. rub down. And that's it, guys. There we go. As you can see, it looks almost as good as new. Perfect. There's no dust, there's no grime, there's no, gunk. Really good. And fully functional. So there we have it, guys. Let's say this process will be the same for pretty much any joystick. This is the Star Probe by Cheetah. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video or it helps you, please give me a thumbs up. And if you enjoy my channel, please subscribe. Speak to you soon. Bye.